Thank you for introducing this the proposal for a bill. I agree that we must find a cleaner way of getting from A to B, and I'll be supporting the motion. However, although many people dream of the day where we're all diesel and petrol free, and I would join them on that, we have to be careful about rushing ahead with the promotion of electric vehicles and seriously consider the realities of mass electrical car rollout. So in my contribution today, I'm just going to focus on electric vehicles. When it comes to the environment, we often talk about our responsibility for the sake of not just Wales, but the rest of the world also. And we need to be mindful of that when promoting electric vehicles. Electric vehicles rely on batteries. Batteries require cobalt, and the vast majority of that sourced from the Congo, an area rife with conflict. Furthermore, children are exploited to work in the cobalt mines for slave wages, and much of the profits the companies make is used to fund civil war. The term blood batteries has now entered the lexicon of those talking about the development of electric vehicles, and we must ensure that we're no part of it. We have to make sure that in our scramble to find a different form of fuel for our cars, we don't end up fueling conflict, poverty and child labour, however many miles away it is from Wales. Tesla have reportedly said that they're looking to source cobalt from Cuba, but in the global scramble for this finite resource, once the ethical sources have been depleted, it will be sourced from less ethical sources. There will be no other choice. Therefore, where point 2b mentions a strategy to move towards using electrical vehicles, please can we ensure that a constant element of that strategy is to only use vehicles that are free of conflict materials or blood batteries. But it's not just the ethical sourcing that concerns me. Some of the practicalities have to be sorted before we rush towards mass use of electrical vehicles. The biggest problem is obviously going to be the recharging. Where at the moment we can fill up quickly mid-journey, there's not the infrastructure or technology that allows that to the same degree at the moment, and other speakers have alluded to that. Many petrol stations even now have a queue of cars waiting for the petrol pumps, and I appreciate that charging points don't have to be restricted to the petrol stations, but there will have to be some centralised charging points for people to use when they're actually en route. So, we've already got queues. How big are these recharging centres going to have to be? If a recharge takes, say 30 minutes as opposed to a 5-minute pit stop to just fill up with petrol or diesel. So what happens if a car runs out of charge before it can get to a recharging point? You know, the driver can't exactly take a petrol can up the road to a filling station. Yeah, go on.
I think one of the developments that we'll see in years to come is that you'll be recharging as you go with recharging miles of highway. So you don't have to stop at all. You're
saying one of the developments that is to come. What I'm saying is that going for a mass rollout of electrical vehicles before the technology and the infrastructure is caught up isn't particularly the right way to go. Okay. So we can't actually say for sure that the more widespread electrical vehicle use is, the quicker the technology will catch up. And until a driver can do a long drive on a single charge, that includes being stuck in a motorway jam for some hours in the winter, electric vehicles aren't going to take off. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against electric vehicles per se. All I'm saying is that there are some consequences that we need to think about. Okay.
Yeah, can we
I'll
think
get
about winding up? Sorry,
I've just got another
3 minutes.
Another concern is the silent nature of electrical cars. Ability to hear a vehicle coming is vital to keeping yourself safe on the road and around the road. What concerns me is that electric cars are so quiet that it causes a health and safety risk. So I would like manufacturers to address that health and safety risk. And then finally, I'd like to point out that only 50% of pollution from cars comes from the engine and the exhaust. The rest of the pollution actually comes from the tyres and brake dust. So, you know, as part of the strategy, we need to be building that into the strategy to look for ways that pollution can be reduced. Okay, thank you.